The World Health Organization said it hoped that China's research into the origins of COVID-19 remains scientific, transparent, urgent, and inclusive. A top World Health Organization official, Maria Ken Cove, hinted that the study is underway in China, based on information from her Chinese colleagues. China, the US, and World Health Organization are entangled in a field that centers on whether the virus that causes COVID-19 should have been leaked from a lab in the city of Wuhan, where the disease was first detected in late 2019. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said in late March that all hypotheses are on the table and warrant complete and further studies.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. After increasing for nearly 2 months, the global number of COVID-19 cases and deaths was stable last week. But it's stable at a very high level, more than 4.5 million cases and 68,000 deaths. However, the situation is very different from region to region.
And in fact, there is no delay in how those studies can be conducted in China because there are many capable scientists there that can carry those out without delay. So we are also in agreement about the urgency to continue those studies.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, more than 10 experts who took part in the mission in Wuhan in January have lamented in the...
In fact, we have heard from Chinese colleagues that studies are underway from some public statements that they have made recently. So again, we want the origins work to remain scientific, transparent, urgent, and inclusive. We've heard statements from our Chinese colleagues that there are studies that are underway in China. We would have to ask them specifically what those studies are, and we look forward to the results of those. As has been outlined in the international report, these include studies of looking at serology, looking at sera that is stored from 2019, looking at tracing back of animals that are there. I don't have the specifics on these exact studies. We very much look forward to what those studies are.
Perspective of our Chinese counterparts, it is a contradiction if you're saying that the lab hypothesis is a non-starter from a Chinese perspective, but we need to now go and look at labs in other countries. I find that difficult to understand, but very willing to engage with our Chinese colleagues to understand what exactly they mean by that statement.
Right. Meanwhile, the international scientists dispatched to China by the World Health Organization to find out where the coronavirus came from Wednesday said the search has stalled and waned, that the window of opportunity for solving the mystery is closing fast. The U.S. intelligence reviewed up by President Joe Biden proved inconclusive about the virus's origin, including whether it jumped from an animal or to a human or escaped from a Chinese lab. The Washington Post reported on Wednesday that the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the conclusions of intelligence review remain classified, so it's unable to comment on the report's content.
He received a briefing yesterday on the 90-day origins report. It was a classified briefing, so of course that's not information we would provide publicly. Because of the prioritization we've given to this and the importance of this information for the public, the intelligence community has been simultaneously working on an unclassified version of a summary version to provide publicly. I don't have a timeline for you on when that will be provided, but they've been working expeditiously to prepare that, and we have also been doing classified briefings, but until that unclassified version is available, I won't be able to provide any more details of the assessment. I think it's well known they haven't been cooperative, right? Through your reporting, other reporting, and just the fact that they obviously have not in a publicly available way provided the data and the information that we have been requesting. In terms of an assessment of what steps we might take, I don't have anything to preview for you on that front. I can assure you the President wants to get to the bottom of the root causes of COVID-19 that has, as you noted, has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans and wishes that there had been more done earlier on to get to the bottom of it and to, of course, save more lives.
Right. Just so much to talk about and unpack as regards COVID-19. I mean, this is another crisis we are facing, and all hands points to China.
Where do you stand on the debate, though? What do you think? What's your theories? Do not take, or, I don't know, biological warfare? They're different theories.
No, for me, it came out of a lab. So even if it's...
By accident or deliberately?
No, probably it could be by accident or deliberately. even if it's zoonotic diseases to come out of a lab, just like the Marburg virus.
Right.
It's zoonotic. They were working on some monkeys in a lab in Germany, Marburg, and they were careless, and it came out of that lab.
So you don't buy the wet market?
No. It's from Wuhan lab. Wuhan lab.
I think the big issue here is that, look, the report that was supplied by the team that was sent by WHO after the initial delay, they were allowed, they were supervised, they were watched over, superintended over by Chinese officials. Their scope of research was limited. That research concluded, the report that came out at that time, that, look, there will be need for further investigation. But their preliminary report was that it did not escape from the lab. That was their initial report. And then, of course, they said there was a possibility that this was a case of animal to human transmission because they visited some of the markets at the time. But they put a caveat. And it was on the basis of that the WHO expressed commitment to further investigation. It was also on the basis of that the Americans were very skeptical about the conclusions reached by the WHO team. And it was also on the basis of that at the G7 summit in the UK, in Cornwall, in a place called Cornwall, it was resolved that China must open up for further investigation. But all of these efforts now are being blocked by China because China is saying no. China is not even the origin of it, and that in fact we should look in other areas, in other parts of the world. China has been very consistent in saying that China has no hand in this, but the rest of the world does not believe it. Even now, the new set of scientists that have been dispatched, China does not want to collaborate with them. The issue, of course, is that for us to get to the root of it, there must be global collaboration. And the WHO has said that this is not about the indictment of any particular country or city. It is about knowing the origins so that we can prevent similar future occurrences. It's about innovation and preparedness in the face of a future pandemic. But China has not always submitted itself to the international rules order, either with regard to global public health or with regard to science and research or to semiconductors or to any other thing, including trade. And that is the dilemma that we face. And if the White House is saying that the findings are inconclusive and that the process of getting more information is stalled, then where does that leave humanity?